Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour on WLTKDB. Let's Talk Radio. I'm Kelly Brickle, and today's show, we are going to actually do some readings and talk. And hello, Lori. Hello. So this week's show, we are going to be focusing on like the readings and everything because April's coming back. It's just sometimes there are storms. There's storms in the United States that go crazy, and she's on an island, so she's using candles right now. Okay, so a shout out to April, and it happens here. I mean, the station is in the Midwest, and there's like tornado warnings or like high winds or thunderstorms. It happens, and when you don't have a signal, you don't have a signal. So it's a very real thing. Gosh, yeah. In California, it's raining right now, actually. It's been raining so much this month and last month, which is nice. I like it. But it's not as crazy with the winds and the storms, but it's just a lot of rain. I'm in the southern portion, so it's not like the flooded rain, quite like the mid part of California. So, hello, Angela. Hello, Sherry. Hello, Kevin. It's nice to see everybody. So we're going to be talking for a little bit with the topic of the day. And during this time, it's like intuition. If people have questions about their own journey, we do that for a little bit. And then we go into readings. And so we'll do like numerology. We'll pull cards. Like I'll go with what I feel and I see with the questions coming in. And my only thing that I ask is make sure you say, I want to have a reading, or just put down your question right with it or your birth date. And that lets me know that you're consenting to the reading. And that's how I choose you. So that's how we do it. Hello, Jessie Cat. Hello. Thank you for your beautiful energy right back. So let's see. The topic of the day. I have like two that I've been wrestling with, so I might hit 2 points, or I might just go with one more dominantly. I think the first one, the first one I want to talk about is energy and like the world energy. And I just feel like a lot of people have been feeling the thickness of the world energy. We're in a world year of 7, and 7 is all about illuminating the truth. With wisdom. So 8 is about truth too, but it's about like that physical manifestation of truth. It's like now or never, or like you're gonna listen or you get the consequences. If you're not listening to yourself, you manifest consequences or you manifest abundance. So that's how it differs from 8, because I know sometimes it's like, how can things in numerology both mean truth? It's like, actually 7 is the form of mental truth. It's a lot of mental energy. It's a lot of airy energy, and it starts to have you slow down and really process things on a level where you're like, oh, okay, I've never noticed this before. Or, wow, I have a lot on my mind. I better just take it easy so I can sort what's going on. And so sometimes you have existential crises during this time too. I know people who have transitioned their career during this time, or they've really tried to look within themselves and go, what do I really want in life? Even if, let's say, they are happy in other categories. So when you have the whole world thinking this way, like kind of the existential crisis kind of vibration, you're going to have people going, wow, what is going on? Or I just don't feel right. Something's just off. And there's a positive to that, I would say, because I always like to find the silver lining. If something is just feeling off, that means it's meant to change. It's not supposed to be the same anymore. If something feels like, gosh, feels kind of weird right now, it means that there's qualities that are evolving. Okay. And I do think human nature and consciousness and our spiritual consciousness is meant to evolve. So when things change, even if it's really chaotic or confusing, or even negative for a moment, everything is meant to evolve. Everything is meant to grow. So it does change its form and it does even out. So the energies, I think people just have been a lot more anxious lately. And just since COVID, with, that's like 3 years ago, I think people's really understanding of time changed too. So they're looking at their needs and their time and their aspirations and what's in their heart totally differently. And of course, and this is how it kind of all bridges together with the psychic hour, I do think when there's a significant shift in consciousness and there's a shift in human evolution, we're also going to find humans much more sensitive than they've ever been before because more people are awakening. Like people who are listening to the psychic hour, like they're going to be interested in psychic things. So they've already awoken on a certain level. But what I'm trying to say here is that, like psychic mediumship and energy sensitivity and being able to understand real things that you can back up but don't have linear information with, that's reality. That's like, information is not sequential. You can get completely accurate information at random and in ways that we've not been taught when growing up of what has been possible. So I do think our brain is super, our energy is super, the capacity of our heart is super, the capacity of our gut feeling is super. It's connected to something so much more, and because of that, since people are feeling, knowing, sensing, and their gut reaction is, gosh, this feels weird, this feels off. You're sensing everyone starting to come awake on the next level. You're sensing yourself going, I'm not meant to have the same. And I do think that since so many people are suffering in some ways, unfortunately, because we are, change is brutal, it really is, that you are sensing or numbing um the suffering that is around, whether it's with people around you or nature or animals or the systems of things. Like there's a lot of systems in place that aren't led by people who want to see, let's say, things grow and evolve for the betterment. And so a lot of people are really feeling like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do? We're all supposed to do something with that. We're not supposed to do everything, you know? Like for instance, uh sure, I'll read about politics, but I have no passion in politics. Are politics important? Absolutely. Politics shape things. Or the environment, like I don't have a green thumb. I don't have a green thumb. I love animals. I'll go back to the green thumb for a second. I love cooking. I love spices. And I love nature, but I just don't have that natural capacity to grow things, or I don't have that natural, I guess, deeper understanding of how to work with, like, let's say, plants like some people do. And the environment needs people like that. Just there's so many different systems out there that need people's ingenuity. So, like, I have, a handful of things that I could offer society with ingenuity with. I know, I have certain talents, and some of them are, yes, with psychic mediumships, and others are like with more creative things. Like, I love to write. Um, I love to like create with, let's say, mediums with like visual arts too. And I love cooking, like I said, so I could do a lot of things in the creative field. And there's other things that are not so creative that I have, some talents in. So I want you to think about that. Like, are your talents being used? And they don't have to necessarily be used all the time. Like, for instance, my talents fuel my spirit to continue to do the work that I'm doing that is in my heart. Every once in a while, like I'll write a poem, or every once in a while I'll I don't know, I'll just create a new dish, right? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. And that kind of opens up my energy and it fuels me to continue to work and feel alive. And I get to share that creative energy, even though maybe people aren't like, wow, you have really good energy. Like, what did you do today? And it's just like, I created something. And that's all it is. It's like whether you're directly influencing the person like, "Here, eat this," or "Here, look at this thing that I've created," or you're just conducting the energy because you are within that frequency. If you are awesome at singing, right? No one has to hear you. They should. I'm gonna put that out there. They should, but no one has to hear you for you to be singing at home yourself, and you raise your vibration and then you walk out the door and they're just like, "Wow, your energy is fantastic." And you're sharing that energy. And that's really the thing. Yes, we need to be using our talents to share and to give back, but honestly, we need to be using our talents to heal ourselves and to be reminding ourselves why life is so beautiful and to share that energy just on that fundamental level. And I do think that, you know, when we have some type of mastery or we have some type of conviction or motivation, faith, strength within this is who I am and this is a gift or this is what's, beautiful about my life, beautiful about me, or this is what makes me feel happy, and you go, this is important. What happens is you maintain that vibration in very difficult situations sometimes because your faith and belief and your leadership and just knowing how important it is to maintain those things or to feel those things so you don't feel dead inside. That is something to feel alive inside. um you start to affect others around you in a way where they'll feel less of that too and they'll feel more of what you're feeling. If you're like, this is a torch I'm bearing it within my heart, it does change for people. Now, if you're around like your family or if you're around people you've known all your life and they've had quite a resistance, let's say, to your zeal, or what makes you happy or what makes you you, that's a little bit of a different story because there's like years and years of thought and belief systems in place, and those have to shatter in a very different way than if you're going into work or if you're with friends that are a little bit more like-minded, or you're taking a class again with people who are like-minded. That's why it's so important to, if you're able to be in environments where you are with, it doesn't have to be like-minded souls. I think that's very important. When you find like-minded souls or kindred spirits, like, it's a very special experience. You feel very much not alone. You feel very much uplifted. So that's very important. But just to be outside of your family circle, and some people have very supportive families, so I'm not discounting that. Sometimes your family is part of your soul tribe, and that's like fantastic. But to be out of the energy that you were raised in, definitely, and to be out of your energy where there is just the repetition of what you've been told this is the reality. Okay. Whether it's extremely positive or otherwise, because definitely it is a skill to maintain a vibration within the world, or it's a skill to go and find and understand different vibrations. And the world is changing so much that we need to have some type of flow with all these different energies coming our way, and to know whether it's family, friends, or let's say classes or relationships, that we know that we can find other people out there that empathize with what we're going through, because there's so many people, I promise you, that can relate to what you're going through and that we're not alone. And when we do feel certain ways, that we can start to go, you know what, the world is changing and I'm changing with it. So this feeling that I want to cultivate, that is so important to me, or this opportunity or this vision or this thing that I'm working on, right? It is possible. It might have not been possible in the old world, but it's possible in the new world. And let me tell you, that is so true. I'm a big believer, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, I'm a big believer of, you gotta really believe it. You gotta really cultivate it. You gotta really protect it. because there's so many beautiful things out there that you cherish and love within your own life, and you find it sacred because you're like, wow, this book, this TV show, this art, work, this painting, even this like certain restaurant, right? Or this person, they're so beautiful, they're so unique, I've never seen anything like it, right? um this artist, this restaurant, it just creates something in such a way, and it's just like they might have been the first to do that, or they're so unique within what they do there that they're so beautiful, and it's just like they needed to go forward without possibly anything to base that energy on. They just had to trust their heart and just go, this is good stuff. And so as the world changes, we have new vibrations that come into the world, and some of the best stuff, some of the best stuff is yet to come. That's really how I feel. Some of the best stuff is yet to come. Okay, let's see. So we got people popping down stuff for readings. We're gonna do readings in just a moment. Tea is always nice. I love my Tulsi tea. Oh, it's so good. It's so soothing. Tulsi tea has so many benefits too. Um, okay, cool. We have people popping down. I'm seeing if there's any questions before I go into readings. Jessie Cat is talking about how cool, she loves the same exact things. That's really cool. Shout out. Kindred souls. I love that. You gotta promote what's good in life. That's for sure, and find other people to hype it up too. So let's see. Let's see. Last week, my cousin. Someone was talking about how they were talking to their family about mediumship, and there was like some religious belief within the family with mediumship. Okay, and you held strong with your got it. Yeah, like cuz sometimes you might be sharing, what's in your heart, and someone's like, I have no reference to how I can understand that, or I don't have interests, or some people, with mediumship, they're talking about how they're like, it's not good work because of the religious constriction with how they identify with it. And so, yeah, I think, and she's talking about how she's like, hey, like, respect me. This is something that's important to me. Respect me, please. And I think that's really, really powerful because it's like, even with my own family, sometimes they don't understand, or my friends, some of my friends, they don't understand, and it's to varying like degrees. Some people are like, support it, cool, awesome, and other people are like, I have no idea what that is, and then I have this idea of what God is to me, and that doesn't fit with what I know. So varying degrees, but if you're in a place where you're like, hey, you don't have to understand, it's okay, but like, please respect me. That's pretty powerful. That is immensely powerful, and at every turn it's just like, it's just about love and respect, because I'm bigger than what I do, or I'm bigger than my beliefs, I'm bigger than how you understand me. If you love me, oh, that's cool. Cool, let's see. All right, so the last thing I'll say is, and then we're going to go into readings, because I look for questions, comments, and then I kind of just talk about what's important, I do think, within this work, is with people who are going through a lot, or people, so I'm going to describe this in two ways. One, with people who are learning about their sensitivities or like emotion, or let's say they're even like really anxious. Some kind of talked about how that's been going on a lot. Or for people looking to develop their psychic skills or even mediumship skills. It's important to understand emotion. It's so important to understand emotion. Like, emotion's a superpower for humans. And hey, you gotta admit it, sometimes it's uncomfortable to feel. It really is. It's kind of like that double-edged sword. It's really awesome to feel, but sometimes it can be really unawesome to feel. Is unawesome a word? You know what I mean? And so you have to kind of embrace within this work that You're made to be a feeler. You're made to be a feeler. And the more sensitive you become, we're made to feel. Like when we feel, it's a type of information coming our way. And when information comes our way about our environment and we're able to understand and interact with it, that's a form of intelligence. That's why that's my number one saying with sensitivity. What is it all of a sudden with sensitivity is intelligence, with grace and skill you have abundance. Like I penned that because I believed in it so much as I was feeling it. I was like, these words describe that, and that's where I really think that humans are heading. So there's that. But to understand how to work with emotion more, whether on a personal level or a reading level. One of my favorite exercises to do as a person or someone practicing my sensitivities is to actually ask myself, what is the vibration of joy for me? Okay? What is the vibration of joy for me? And you make a list. And I actually learned this from Sonia Choquette. So I'm sure I've talked about this before in past shows, but I'm going to talk about it in a slightly different context. So you kind of write five things down that is important to you. It's actually more helpful to speak it out loud and to try to see if you can just flow within it. And then if you can do 5, can you do 10? And it's just like it's you. Like it's you. We think about things a lot that stress us out, or let's say the long list that we have, but we don't have a long list necessarily of our joy, our happiness, our greatest achievements right off the top of our head. It's like, where is your joy and some of the most beautiful things in life just right off the top of your head? Is it like sitting there, like ready in your energy, or like self identified in your energy? Or is it like somewhere else where that's not easily accessible? And it's like you want your joy accessible. You want your greatest understandings about yourself and who you can be, who you are, and who you can be accessible. It really does transform your state of being, and it makes you like a bastion when you are like, so this fortress, when you are encumbered by other energies. It's so important to remember who we are, or to start to learn about who we are, so we can hold that so strong and so sacred no matter what comes our way. No matter what comes our way. And we can ignite that in others. So, anyway, back to the whole joy list, right? So, the emotion of joy. So, some people like can really identify that, and other people are like, I don't know, right? And to feel it, some of my favorite things to do is like on the most simple level, find like 5 songs that just like light you up every time you listen to them. Like they move your body, they make your toe tap, they get you like dancing, or like they get you the feels on the inside, like, oh, like that's like that beat is so great, or that person's voice or the way they sing that line, like it makes me feel like, oh, like, right? And so if you can, I guarantee you that if you find songs that you love, you'll feel. You start to go, how does this song make me feel? Does it make me feel joyful? Because that's like kind of the first vibration emotion we're focusing on. And if it does, check. Or does it make you feel melancholy? Or does it make you feel um confidence, or like revved up, right? Like no matter what these awesome songs, and you have to like the songs and feel it, right? That you have, like start categorizing those feelings. And once you become familiar with the feelings, because you're just like, hey, what's the feeling of melancholy? Well, I have a song for it. And your whole body is ignited with that emotion, right? You can honestly switch to emotion if you want. You start to have that accessible as almost a form of therapy if you want to like actually release some sadness that's bottled up. Or again, if you want to ignite your joy with this beautiful song, or for the psychic development exercise, you start learning about how to feel emotion. Because if someone's in front of you and they're going through, like, let's say, the best time of their life that year, you're going to be kind of lit up a certain way. And you're like, hey, I know this feeling. If you've been, categorizing kind of different feelings and feeling them within your own body, and you have something almost like a song to help stimulate it, or like that melancholiness, you'll feel like, wow, this has been a difficult year for you. I just feel like there's so many things that have to be released, right? So those are some of my favorite exercises to work with to start to open up energy and to understand how you process energy, or even to create signs with energy. Okay. Because sometimes people wonder, how is it possible to feel emotion? How is it possible to sense energy, to read people? You just understand emotion really well, and you understand how it lights up in your body. And so your empathy goes, oh, I'm getting a register on what another person is experiencing, because my empathy is displaying information in my body a certain way. So I understand a certain way now. I understand a certain way a little bit more differently now. So with that said, those are the two subjects I really wanted to talk about passionately today. It was like, how do we navigate some of these tumultuous waters and some of these existential crises we're going through, maintain who we are, or actually start to learn about more of who we are and know that we are meant to change. Things are meant to evolve. If things are different, they're have the possibility, amazingly, to be better, not just worse. So you have so much power in the change that is coming up within the world, and also to really understand the possibility of emotion and how it's this human superpower on a psychic level, and just using emotion to on a personal level to reignite or shift what the world sometimes gives to you, that you can actually change it and learn about it as you are changing it, and learn about yourself and go, oh, sometimes I'm so aware of my own emotions and I know myself so well. All of a sudden I wake up and I feel something that's not even mine, and that's real. I wake up or I go to work and I start feeling something that's not mine, or I visit somebody or talk to someone on the phone and suddenly I feel a completely different way. It's because it's not your emotion. It's because we are all in this life sharing so much energy. And that is sometimes something so important to talk about within this work that becomes very crystal clear the more you do readings and the more you work with energy. And you have to share that with others. Hey, continue to understand where this is coming from. It's not you necessarily. So don't feel like you can't know where to go next. Just reset your energy. And that's why it's so much about health and healing and positive vibes within this work, because that's not only what's in this work, but it is so important within this work because of that. Okay. Okay, let's go into readings. Certain people are talking for seconds. See. Referencing that family conversation, reinforcing the respect made her speechless. Jessica's talking about and family, like her husband helped change the energy. He passed and told me things that she would only know. Oh, her husband. Okay, yeah, her cousin's husband. I got it. Oh wow, so you actually facilitate. That's another thing. Sometimes you'll just share things and someone will go, how do you know that? Doesn't always happen, but when it does, gosh, is it handy? That's amazing, though. That's amazing that spirit was working with you in that situation with your family. That's pretty powerful stuff. Um, Courtney's talking about, I can't tell, we're creative beings. I agree with everything Jessie Cat as well. Oh, okay. She's talking about just acknowledging we're creative beings. Okay, got it, got it. And that she stopped listening to low vibrational musics. And yeah, that's really real. I think I have more flexibility now, but at certain times in my life, with sound at least, with visuals, I still don't like to see like super gory stuff. Like some people are fine with it, and that's cool. But like there was a time where I was even very sensitive to like lyrics that just weren't, I don't know, that weren't super positive, because it would just make me feel certain ways. So, I mean, they're all clues to what's going on within your body. They're all clues to what's going on with your clair senses on why you're being so sensitive to certain things coming your way and experiencing things. It's all real. Okay. And then Angela's like, I love the idea of songs igniting certain emotions. Yes, 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 yes. That's very true. I feel music deep within my soul. A list is a great idea. Yes, lists are incredible. And then roses. Yes, I use music to communicate my current emotions. Absolutely. Absolutely. The power of music, everybody. It is undeniable. Maybe we'll go more into that in another show. And Courtney's like, my Facebook is wacky today. Hey, it happens. Technology, weather, it happens. Let's go into some readings. I love everyone's comments. All right, who's at the top? So Jessie Cat's at the top. She'd love a general reading, and then we'll kind of go down the list. So we got Angela and Jennifer. Those are the three that we will start with. I always drink my tea or water before we go. All right. I always just redo the math, reset the math. Even if I've seen numbers before, I just redo the math because you got to keep this like blank slate energy. Okay. So just give me 6 to 90. Just opening up the energy right now. Cycle of. All right. Cycle of 6. All right. So let me scroll down to the bottom and away we go. All right. So for Jessie Cat, I do feel like I'm getting like a lot of color, but I'm getting a lot of like energy at the same time that is blocked. And that's okay. Hey, we're humans again. We're humans. So I'm just aware of there's so much influence with home life, with how it affects you. So it can like amplify you or like deflate you. And I do feel like it's kind of funny. I don't know how to describe this. Like I'm seeing like these clear boxes. They're not boxes, they're like bins, these clear bins, and they have like different like markers. They could have crayons in them, but I'm seeing like markers or maybe colored pencils, but definitely markers. And it's like connected to kids, and it's just like the kids stuff is in, I don't know if this is right. just bear with me, okay? Just bear with me as I say this, because sometimes I get like really jumpy aspects of stuff, but I'll get back to the stuff that I know. Um, but it's almost like the kids stuff um is in like the dining room, or it's like some main eating room, okay? And it's just like that stuff doesn't necessarily have to be there. So like I'm aware of this positivity in the house, but it's almost like there's stuff that is in places that it doesn't have to be. And since there's overlapping stuff, it's creating overlapping like energy situations where it's like home, family, my stuff, just stuff with just my husband, stuff with just, my immediate relatives. I don't know. It's kind of like all mixed up. It's like things are not like it's like things have their place in your house, but it's like things don't have the proper place to make you feel like relaxed. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. It's almost like we need like things to be reconfigured so things are more relaxed. It's like it might work, but it's just like if you look at your house, go like, does this really work for me? Do I really feel calm like in every single room of my house? And it's kind of just like, how do things support you? Because when we feel like scattered a little bit, we want to make sure that we are supported. So like there's certain rooms within my house where I'm like, oh, I need to do this and that. And like, oh, that needs to be done. And I know as soon as it's done, it opens up the energy in the house, and I feel actually more supported within how my energy feels from day to day and week to week. So there's that element going, because I'm just aware of there's so much positivity, but there's lulls of energy within the house. And there's lulls of energy in the house with how it makes you feel. So I do think it's just like you need to look about how you're being supported on that next level. That's really important because I'm just feeling like these dips within the energy, and you're like, I'm doing all these things, I'm doing all these things. And it's like, you are. So it's just like, continue to, on the most basic physical levels, how are you supported? How are you supported? Because when things are wonky, you just go, oh, at the most basic levels, right? What do I need? And that really starts transforming a lot because you might have other things ready to go. It's just there's like some of these missing kind of support pylons, right? So that's coming in. It's really much a year about family for you. And it's really much a year about expressing your emotional needs. So it actually makes sense. You know, you mentioned the story with your cousin. Not only is about expressing your emotional needs and respecting yourself, but actually spirit came through with family too. So that's like a double whammy of actually more things will happen like that this year, because when we have that sixth cycle, it's all about making sure our emotional needs are expressed to those closest to us. And it's like, do you understand me? Am I really supported? Are you really in my corner? Or how much can you be in my corner? So it's like, I'm going to really think about how often that I interact with people in certain ways, because what really does support me, I'm not looking to get knocked down. I'm looking to get stronger. So are you one of those people that can provide that for me? So that all gets reconfigured, and you really look at your emotional self and you look at your emotional boundaries in a very different way this year. And yeah, that's honestly, those are the biggest things that come up. Um Jessica kept saying yes. Okay. I do feel like things have their place. So I want to give you credit. It's like even though it's not what you want it to be, like things have their place even though they don't have their perfect place right now, right? Um and so that's good because you are working towards it. But it's just like the one thing that comes into play is whenever you have a moment, just do a little bit of, is this the hype? I want, yeah, look at it. Look at, it's not, you don't do it all at once. Just go to a room, a section, and go, hey, like, how can I make this energy like higher? Or how can I open up the energy here? And then you might just put something in a different location. You might decide that, hey, I like this piece of furniture in a different place. Like, it can be anything. It can just be like, oh, this plate's not supposed to be here, or the stuffed animal shouldn't even, what's this doing here? Let's put it back in its spot. That's that stuff will help you to feel less scattered, and it will change the way that your everyday life is met with, and it's going to be met with more ease. That comes in very strongly. So I'm going to give that to you. And it's really, honestly, like with readings, sometimes it's like, well, why would you talk about your house and organization and stuff like that? Honestly, it's huge. Honestly, it's huge. It's like how we feel every day and how we're meeting our life. And if it's difficult, that it can come to our foundations. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that sometimes if I'm behind in certain things, like I will go into work feeling just more scattered. And so if we want more, I guess, success and focus, it comes back to those things, and they come up within readings. So I'm just putting that out there to people wondering why that would come up in a reading, but you know, that's how it goes. Okay. So we're going into Angela's next, right? Okay, Angela, she wants card pulls. Gotcha. All right. Angela. Let's do it. Okay. So, all right. Angela. So I have a lot of moving pieces for you in the cards that I am seeing. And it really goes back to like health, like what supports you and what is helping you feel like you every day. Because when we're not healthy, it could be like physically just don't feel like yourself, or like emotionally just don't feel like, spiritually don't feel like yourself. These are all categories that come up within our life. It does. And so it's showcasing that there's been so much change, and really you're in the year of letting go to build and start anew. You really are. And in order to do that, when things need to become new, the old needs to wash away. And sometimes the old washing away means things tear apart, whether like relationships or things we once knew. So it can be very emotional and scary. And so these elements are coming into play. And a lot of things still need to be said and come to the surface. And there's like a nervousness within that. There's a lot of things that need to be known. And it's like maybe the people who need to hear that can't receive that right now, or you feel like that's not in the cards per se. But it's so important that we don't hold energy as we move forward. So it's like your feelings have to be shared, your feelings have to be known, you have to process it. And it's just like, whether it's through therapy, or whether it's through like a trusted friend, or whether it's through, sometimes like I just will be in my room and I'll just talk things out loud, or I'll write things down, because I'm like, wow, I need to get this energy out of me because it's so intense. Like I need to see this energy in a different way, that I just make sure it comes out, because you're getting the let it be known card. And it's like showcasing that it's like it's very hard for you to get things out and to continue to let things go. And it's so, so needed, because if we like let these things fester, even if we're like doing our best to make peace with them and move on, but we haven't got them out of our system, and they're swirling around, right? And it could be an anger or a sadness, and it's just swirling around. That's energy that hasn't been processed, and it can really encumber our physicality, our energy, our health. Okay. And so it can make us feel more tired. It can make us feel like really unmotivated. It can make us feel like we get more sick more often. Um, and Yeah, it needs to come out. It needs to come out. Other avenues of healing, okay? Not just dealing. So this is not about dealing anymore. This is about letting go and talking about it and going, wow, yeah, this is what it was. And I see it a different way. And I needed that. So it's the next phase of healing. And it's just like when we do that, what happens is we release, and we're able to actually get our bearings and become strong again. We're able to become physically more vital, and we're able emotionally to then take on more. And so that's what's happening. Like no one's weak if they're getting hit hard. It's just they're taking on too much, or they have not released. And so it's like if you already are lifting 50 pounds every day of emotional weight, right? And then 20 more pounds comes your way because of work or a family member, we're going to crumble. We're going to crumble. We already have too much weight on ourselves. And it's just like, in order to get strong, we do have to heal. We do have to let go. And then suddenly we can take on all this this extra weight of the world again in a very different way. But there has to be this like healthy healing cycle of releasing, and that's coming into play and really coming into the forefront. It is time, it is needed. And that's why some of the things have been wonky, because it's just the need for release is so strong. Okay. I hope that makes sense, Angela. Um, okay. Yes, they can't receive it and it's difficult and I don't feel like myself. Yeah, what happens is when we take on so much of trauma, or so much of just what has happened to us, and we're just like, people don't understand. I'm just trying to deal with this, and we take on all of that ourselves. Well, think about it. A lot of the hurt, the pain, and the sadness is not just coming from ourselves. It's coming from what happened. It's coming from a time in the past. It's coming from people. So their energy is all up in you. And the more we go, I don't know how to deal with this or I can't deal with this, the more we go away from actually ourself, because in order to us to be ourself, we have to clear that out and go, I'm glad that's out. You know, it doesn't have to be out 100%. It just has to be out in some way and released in some way and go, okay, like I can feel like myself again, or I'm able to let go of that pain a little bit so I can feel like myself again. Because if we're just feeling that so much, we're not going to want to feel that. So we're not going to want to feel what's in our body. And then also, as well, what we're thinking about is not us as well. So we won't, more and more, we won't feel like ourselves, if that makes sense. So it's so, so, so important. It's so, so, so important. And you have to, if these people won't understand, you have to find someone else that will help you just to release it. It's about you. You come first. If they don't, if they can't facilitate or can't be a part of the process, then that is their journey. Your journey is to make sure that you are healthy and can release and to grow and to feel strong again. And there are avenues that can be taken for that. And it's so important for you to feel your heart and yourself and to feel alive back in the world. It is so important. Okay. Absolutely, Angela. Let's see who's next. Sending my love to you, Angela. Jennifer. Jennifer's next. Okay, she gave me her numbers, so let's write those down. Cycle of okay. She's in the cycle of 60. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So this is a year for you as well, Jennifer, to reevaluate family as well. You got the cycle 6, and 6 is all about family. It's about very close relationships where we feel like they're part of the pack, whether we've been born into the pack or we've created a pack, and about understanding what you want to do with your time most precious. And I feel like, again, it's another like a year of reaping these seeds of wisdom where you're like, this doesn't work for me. I need to find out what works. I just feel like, I don't know, it's like around family and friends, like the close groups, I'm just seeing like there's just, it's one of two things, like you haven't gone out in a while, or the relationships that you do have, it's just not quite exactly what you want. There's something about that, and I wish my brain was more specific. It really does, and I'm scrolling down just in case. Um, but I'm well aware of that. I do think it's more of the aspect of, yeah, just haven't been going out as much. That I'm getting that more clearly now. Um, and sometimes, again, like people have been feeling very overwhelmed, more anxiety riddled. So it's like, if you feel like that, you're gonna not be so like gung ho to go out, right? I can feel like that sometimes, and I'm just like, whoa, Nelly, I better change. I better go for a walk to see if I can get this feeling out of my system, right? So I understand it's a very, very big thing. But it's so, so needed. So within who you are, within your daily routine, I'm talking about daily routines a lot lately, everyone, because part of it, the missing clue is in our daily routines. It's like the world is always around us, and sometimes we can't control what's in the world, but we can control how we step out into the world. If we're uncomfortable with it, we still can control that. So I'm returning a lot back to how our daily habits are. And so I'm just aware that there's a way to break open the energy in a way where I feel like, okay, I can do this a little bit more easy. I can do this a little bit more easy. And I just feel like again, the house, I'm talking about people's houses a lot too. I just feel like the house needs like just a deep reset. A deep reset. I just feel like there's so much old energy in the house. Whether it's like it could be a metaphor for, needs a redecoration, but I do think it's way more than that. I just think like you got to fall in love with life again in a way, and it's just like waking up being in your house. It's kind of just like won't won't. Okay? So that's coming forward, and I really would like you to get out in nature a lot more. Again, it's like I need this breaking up of energy. When we go out into nature, with the air, and you got to find something quiet, something that you actually like to go to. It's almost like it helps break up our thoughts. There's negative ions in the soil and air. It actually helps clean and clear out our body, so we feel kind of like refreshed when we're out in nature. And it's just like there's all this, I feel like you're going through the motions, like, and you're like, life, life. Okay. And if you can relate to that, Jennifer, I don't know if you're still in on the thread and everything, but it's like when there's a bunch of stuff caked on and we're just kind of dealing with stuff, we go, yep, this is life. And it's just like I'm aware. Okay, I moved to the new area right before COVID, so I haven't been able with the move. Okay, so again, it's the support system's different, and the environment. Like I'm just feeling like the house just doesn't like really gel with you. Okay, so it's like we got to make that house gel with you. We got to make that house gel with you. And I don't know if the house itself is older, and that's part of the reason why it feels womp womp inside, but it's like if we can break off that energy, went from a big city to small city has that is open with different cultures, that is not as open with different cultures, I think that you're saying. Um, yeah. So it's just like it's hard to find some of the variety with people. I think that's what you're saying. Um, I do think within that small town, or that smaller city, excuse me, that there are people who are on your wavelength. It's just like we got to find them. And it's like, in order to find them, we got to get out, and we have to ask, the universe to help us. When I go out, can you please have me run into people that I would actually like? I know that sounds funny and simple, but it's very powerful. All right, like please help me run into people that I have things in common with, that I like, that I think are old souls, that are interesting, and they either feel stuck like me, or they're here, and we're kind of gonna rock this energy of how people necessarily can't relate to us, but we're awesome. Okay. And so it's just like getting out of the house is so, so, so important. And the cycle 6 is all about reestablishing support systems, so you can actually feel emotionally strong, because it's very true. I talk about this all the time. Your emotional system really gets reevaluated or hit very hard depending on how your family or close friends support system are around you, and it really goes into the next even 3 years of your life. Like this cycle, it's like there needs to be so much healing in the next 3 years of how you've reestablished who your family is and how you can connect with others. So it's so important, and it's really a lesson in itself to go, okay, I can have more, I can have better, and it's still possible even if I'm in this predicament. Okay? Because you get to co-create, you get to cultivate who comes to you. It might take a little bit more effort, it might take a little bit more time, but it's entirely possible, and it will make your life like so much more happier and meaningful. And it's so needed to focus on that. So actually it's great because you're a personal day 1 too, so you bring people to you if you make the first move. Sometimes people actually will be attracted to your light. So like a personal day 1, that's in numerology. A one energy stands out. A one energy feels different. So it can feel eccentric to people, or it can feel like a leader, or it can feel like, wow, that person just, they have something to say. And so actually, ones attract people very easily. So you might have people coming up to you and trying to learn about you. Or if you ever assert yourself, people will actually listen. They will listen, and this it's a very powerful number to have if you wanna meet new people, or if you, like, want to be in some type of role where you have a leader ship capability where you help influence people. So, that's very, very strong. I wanna give that to you. One other thing. You have an attitude 8, so you know what you like. You have a good eye. Just be patient, okay? Just be patient. And if you want to perfect something and protect yourself with who comes your way, protect the art of asking the universe, protect the art of having faith, protect the art of saying, hey, I'm not sure how to do this. So you're gonna show me how to do this, okay? And I'm gonna have amazing results. That's the attitude that's going on with what will shift and change. Because you have an attitude 8, and so you can make actually big things happen. You just need a pathway to it, and you need a lot of repetition and focus to it. Um, let's see. I got your 8. At the end of the day, you're supposed to have variety. So, will you stay in this small city forever? No. But you're a life past 7, and a life past 7 actually needs to have a little bit of variety. They need different experiences to go, "Oh, I've seen the opposite of this. I've seen the other side of that." So, since I've seen extremes, I actually really know what life means. I really know how to size things up in a way where maybe other people haven't looked at it, and I can see the the low points of it, but I can also see the high points of it. So again, I think your job when in all of this is to be really good with asking for help and faith from the universe and igniting your intuition so you can work with it and you can find people and find situations. And at the end of the day, this is going to teach you so much about yourself. You know, it's like finding needles in a haystack. You can do it if your intuition is sharp enough. Let me tell you, you can find a lot of needles in a haystack. There's many haystacks out there for you to go find and for you to discover all those wonderful surprises. And so that's what I'm going to give to you. Absolutely, Jennifer. Okay. So we'll take one more and then we will close the show. I'm gonna say hi to people coming in though as they're coming. Everyone comes in towards the end. It's like, y'all. um Renee, hello, Renee. Oh, thank you for taking something away from that, Renee. Thank you so much. And Courtney, yes, thank you. Um, oh, Jessica was talking about her reading something that we grew up. Parents were so clean. Oh my gosh, like oh stuff. I don't know why. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Like I see that with like kind of like cycles of people. Like one family will be OCD and then they'll create kind of like a different vibration. Yeah, that does happen. Hello, One. Hello. And then okay, hello, Aoife or Ife. I hope I'm saying that right. Beautiful name though. Hello, hello. And okay. So we'll do one for you, Renee. We'll do a card for you, and we'll do it like that. I'm, I'm glad the community is supporting each other. They're like talking about how they can relate to certain things and they're talking amongst themselves. I love it. I'm like reading some of the comments. I'm like, oh, okay. Renee. Okay. Oh, cool. I like these. I like these. It's a very upbeat pull. Okay. So what comes in for you is you got the communications card, and that's all about like listening to your guides, listening to spirit, listening to angels, and like there's messages all around you. And to actually be in the place where you're ready to listen on a different level, or you acknowledge the reality of, oh, I heard that. Yeah, that's real. That's something. I'm going to take that. I'm going to use that. It's like the reason why we're given things is because there's a purpose at play, whether it's to open up ourselves or whether it goes to something greater than ourselves. The spirit world works with us a lot individually at first because they're like, we need to make sure you can listen, right? And then as you are good at listening, we can do more stuff with you. So the communications card is awesome because it's about like, hey, how do you want to work with the spirit world? Because the door is open and the energy is in a place where you're actually very open to it and very next level with it too as well. So you have a very good placement in that. So that's always great to see. And then the summer song is, I love when I pull this card. It's all about joy and happiness, and it's allowing yourself to take a break, allowing yourself to enjoy things within life, whether it's you take like a mini vacation or you do something where you go, I needed that. Life is good. So, you got very happy, upbeat cards to encourage you to enjoy life and to encourage you when you're in that flow of like, hey, like I'm having a good time. You'll actually get things that you didn't expect because you're in a different state. And so to encourage you within your life when you find yourself in different areas, go, is spirit communication or is my intuition coming easily here or is it more difficult? And to put yourself in situations where you find you do have that more ease and flow and go, whoa, actually, I'm more like myself in this environment. And it's not just intuition, it's just how you feel as a soul, right? So I'm encouraging you to, you know, step outside into the sun, spend a little bit of time or money on yourself, get that vibration high. And it's a really good time for you to open the next step with your guides. I love it. There's a lot of like children energy around you too. Comes in when I talk about communications. Could be from the spirit world or the spirit world encouraging you to work more with children. So that is coming in. There's an aspect of children that comes in strong. All of a sudden I'm seeing all these children. Interesting. So I give that to you, Renee. Hopefully that makes sense and just continue to be in your power, but feel what that feels like. It's not just about raw. It's about, wow, I feel like me and what that is. So with that sense expressed, with those things said, I'm going to say thank you for coming in for today. We're going to get April Nicole back. We will see when we can get a date for that. And when it all lines up, you have to just, bow down to Mother Nature at times. And just that's the way it goes. And that's okay. And we had a great show today. So again, thank you everyone for coming in. I'm glad we got to do readings. We're going to be doing maybe readings on Friday, or we might get a guest. We'll see. I always like to see how the week goes because we had a guest originally for today, but we might try to get a guest for Friday too as well. Let's see how it goes. It's a surprise. You never know. But I'm wishing everyone a great start to your middle point to your week. It almost feels like a start sometimes on a Wednesday, but a great week. And I will see you very soon. With that said, please go with love, laughter, light, luck, and everybody, please don't forget to live. See you soon. Take care. Thank you, Kevin.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.